Hi and welcome on in. This is Bane. This is my channel. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. For those of you who are new, hello. I am a definitely middle-aged person who does a lot of arts and crafts, a very small YouTube channel, and that's okay. I also do streaming on Twitch on occasionally. It's Bane over there if you're interested. I'd like to show you why I use a scant quarter inch. And it is because of this machine right here. This is my workhorse. I have been using a sewing machine like this for the past, I want to say 25, almost 30 years. Um, this is actually the second treadle machine that I have had. The first one ended up having to be left behind in a move. But I want you to look closely here. Most modern machines, I apologize for the shaky camera. I do have shaky hands. It's part of a medical condition. Um, Here, let's do this. That's better. Most modern machines have markings to show where the seam line is or what the distance from the needle is. This does not. None of these do. None of the ones that I've ever had, the treadle machines I've ever had, do. What I had to do this demonstration is to actually lower the needle and measure from the needle to a quarter inch out, and I put a piece of washi tape, and that is the quarter inch mark right there. So when I'm doing a scant quarter inch, it's because I've never had the marker and I'm very good at eyeballing, so I use the edge of the foot as the marker for what I'm stitching. Now for this example, I had some strips of fabric that I already sewed together. These are 1.5 inch strips. I just put 3 of them together. I cut them into squares and then cut the squares into quarters. Or I'm sorry, not into quarters, into halves to make triangles. So I've got these. And what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to make very simple, let's see, like so. I am not able to brain today. Oh my goodness. Well, this is what half of it looks like. There we go. There we go. To turn them into essentially little pinwheels. And I'm going to do the first one with the measurement being the edge of the foot, and the second one with the measurement being the quarter inch edge of the washi tape, so that I can show you the difference and how very little difference there actually is between these. I am going to be using the treadle machine because it makes sense to show you on the machine that I basically learned to sew on. So we've got the square set out here, and I'm going to take these two and stitch them like so, these two and stitch them like so. And this one I think I'm going to use the edge of the presser foot for the first one. Oh, I got folded over. That's okay. And I'm not going to bother to press these just because I don't have the iron warmed up. And as I said in multiple other videos before, it's always better to press. Always better to press. Let's see, how do, oh, there we go. You're gonna cut today, good job. Now, this particular machine is well over 100 years old, based on, I've got a little tangle there, got futzed. Based on the research on the serial number, this was one of a set of uh, machines that was commissioned in 1908. All right, so we've got these two. I'm just going to flip this over here and attach along this edge. This is another one of those squares. It's really simple to make with pre-cuts. I love pre-cuts. Pre-cuts are my friends. And I should probably pin it, but I won't. That's okay. Do so, and straighten that edge out. There we go. And just simple as that, you've got a nice little square. Now this, of course, is not obviously not a very large. It's not the 12 by 12 that I had been doing. But it's still a lovely little square. And if you do a whole bunch of them, you end up with a lovely little quilt or a lovely large quilt. I don't know. I'm not you. I'm not going to second guess what you're doing. I'm going to set up the second square the same way. I'm going to do the same thing here and here, but this time I am going to use the 1/4 inch washi tape mark to do the stitching. Again, just so that I can show you the difference between what I do as standard stitching for me and what people have been recommending. And the people that are recommending to use the full 1/4 inch are absolutely correct. It will be much sturdier. It will last much longer. But I'm also not expecting my quilts to last more than, 20 years. It's just the way that modern washers and dryers work and the way that modern fabric is made. They're not going to be quite as sturdy, and that's okay. I don't necessarily want my quilts to be out there 150 years from now. If they're still out there 150 years from now, that means they were not used. And they're meant to be used. They're meant to be used. They're meant to be loved. They're meant to be washed. They're meant to be thrown in the dirt and stomped on by little kids. And it's just the life of a quilt. And that's okay. Right, so I got those two. Again, I'm going to just open them out. Like so. Put the one over on top of the other. Like so. And stitch them together. Again, using the washi tape as the 1/4 inch mark. Pause here for a moment to straighten this out. Oh, it doesn't look like I quite got it straight. It's close enough. I know. Quilting is supposed to be precision. This is not. It's a demonstration. It's fine. This is fine. Okay, so that's the second square done. Now to show you the difference in size, I'm just going to put this one because it had the larger seams. I'm going to put the cross on the center there. Just kind of hold it up. You can see there is a size difference. There's not much of a size difference, but there is a size. Hello, focus. There we go. There is a size difference. And to show you the difference in the seams, if I line up seam here and seam here, again, there is a difference, but it is not a huge, huge difference. It's fairly minimal. This side's not lined up very well. There we go. That's better. Oh, I'm having problems now. There we go. It's not a huge focus. Focus. There we go. There again, there's not a large difference in the seam allowance there. It's fairly minimal. There is a difference, but it's not huge. Let me pull this one. That might show a little bit better. Here and it's fairly small. It will still hold. It will hold for, I've had quilts. I've got a quilt that's currently in the dryer because I use them. Um, but I've got a quilt that I made probably 10 years ago. I've had one small hole open up in it along a seam. And it took me maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes to get out a needle and thread and do 4 or 5 stitches and put it back together. I'm not worried about this, even though the people who are saying to use the full 1/4 inch are technically very, very correct. And you should use a full 1/4 of an inch. I don't, again, because the machine that I use most of the time does not have a marker. If I pull this tape off, if I pull the washi tape off, there is nothing there. There are no indications. Nothing. And it's actually difficult for me personally, and again, this is just me personally, to use a modern machine that has those distance markers on it because I'm not used to them. Uh, but the people who are making these comments are very, very correct. You're right, you're right, you're very right. I admit it, I completely admit to being not correct about this, 100%. But that's not going to stop me from continuing to do this just because it's what's easier for me. So thank you for letting me demonstrate and for listening to me ramble. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Uh, Thank you so much for coming along for the ride, and I hope to see you again on the next one.